Hey guys, welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast, your daily guide for inner child healing. This podcast helps you establish a consistent reparenting routine and is divided into 3 sections. The first is a daily reading, the second is a discussion of that reading followed by suggested journal prompts, and the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad that you're here as we continue on this journey of self-expansion and growth. If this is your first time, welcome. Now, before we dive in, I have a few quick reminders. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support here helps us spread the word, allowing us to continue to grow this community. Next, I'd like to introduce our Patreon group, where we have 3 weekly meetings. On Sundays, we have a meditation meeting. On Tuesdays, we have book club meeting. And on Thursdays, we have open topic discussions. These meetings take place at 6 p.m. CEST, so Amsterdam, Paris time. For my next announcement, I'd also like to introduce the Reparenting Daily journal, which you can find on Amazon. This journal follows along with the podcast, so each weekly and monthly themes are reflected in the journal. It provides space for you to keep your notes with plenty of extra resources on each topic to be discussed. It's an excellent tool, and if you purchase it, you can join our weekly meetings for free. Just send me an email and we'll get you linked in. For the last announcement, I'd like to introduce one of my most meaningful creative projects, a 3-volume series entitled Fairy Tales for Reparenting. Now, you might be wondering, why fairy tales? Aren't those just for kids? But through my personal healing journey and in studying the work of Carl Jung, Marie-Louise von Franz, and other spiritual and psychological traditions, I've come to see fairy tales as powerful symbolic maps for transformation. They carry deep, timeless wisdom, especially for those of us doing the hard work of reparenting ourselves. The series follows the structure of the hero's journey. Volume 1 explores the wounded child, stories of loss, betrayal, and innocence. Volume 3 is about the trials of endurance, cunning, and self-discovery. And Volume 3 is the return, stories of transformation, power, and wholeness. Each story is followed by journal prompts and space to reflect on how each story connects to your own inner healing journey. These are not just tales, they're tools. They're an invitation to connect with the part of you that still believes in magic and possibility and healing. You'll find both familiar classic and lesser-known stories from cultures around the world, offering you fresh insights and inspiration on your path. All 3 volumes are now available on Amazon. Your support means so much to me, not just for this project, but for the larger mission of helping myself and others reconnect inwardly. Reparenting is like nurturing a bonsai tree. It's not fast, it's not flashy, but with care, patience, and consistency, it will transform you. Thanks so much for being here and for supporting this work, and also for committing on your personal journey of self-expansion. Now, without further ado, let's dive into today's practice. Today, we're going to be listening to a lecture by Reverend Ike, and it's about the importance of self-image. I've chosen that because this week, you'll know our weekly theme is communicating assertively. This lecture helps us understand of communicating assertively with ourselves, which is a little bit of a twist. Just as a reminder, we're in July, and the theme for this month is establishing boundaries and assertiveness. We're in week 3, which is the 15th until the 21st, and the theme is communicating assertively. It's important to understand how communicating assertively with ourselves is the self-discipline that allows us to make progress in reparenting. I'm not saying to put a significant amount of pressure on yourself. It's more about attention, not to increase your stress, but to give yourself the respect of consistently showing up for yourself and believing in yourself and your ability to change. So without further ado, let's listen to the lecture.
I want to speak to you for a few moments from the subject, You Can Have It. And you're going to find out that my sermons are not like the usual sermons. I don't just stand up here and preach nice little sermons. I'm going to involve you in this sermon. I'm going to have you help me preach this sermon. So the first thing that I'm going to do to involve you in this sermon is to have you convert my subject to the first person and have you say with me, I can have it. And I want you to point to yourself as you say this. Together, everybody. I can have it. Now, I want all of you to stand, and I'm going to have you say that in a very sassy way. I told you this is a working sermon. This is a sermon which involves you. It's not just nice platitudes that I give you. You know, that good book, the Bible, declares that by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. What does that mean? By your words you shall be rewarded, and by your words you shall be punished. It's important what you say in your heart. So I want you to speak some very strong words at this moment. Put your hand on your hip, if you will, and begin, as we say this, let your backbone slip. And these are the words that I want you to say with me in a moment. No one can tell me what I can't have. Come on. No one can tell me what I can't have. Did you put your hand on your hip and let your backbone slip? Now we're going to say it again, and we're going to shake it to the east and shake it to the west. Now, this may seem like nonsense to some people, but let me explain what I'm doing. I'm helping you to deposit this positive idea in your subconscious mind. And you see, when you stand like this and put your hand on your hip and let your backbone slip, this helps to embed this positive idea in your subconscious mind more firmly. Because here again the Bible says, as a man thinks, so is he. As a man thinks of himself, so is he. You see, this is another secret. It does not matter what other people think about you. It only matters what you think about yourself. There are two wonderful texts that I want to mention very briefly from this good old book called the Bible. I'm in the Bible Belt today, down here in Macon, Georgia, and the folks down here really believe in this old book, and I love it. The first text is from Mark, the 10th chapter and the 27th verse, and I want you to shout it back at me as I read it. Jesus said unto him, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. The next text is from St. Mark, the 9th chapter, the 23rd verse, and I want you to shout that back at me as I shall read it to you. With God, all things are possible. And I want you to notice for a moment these two texts. One text states that with God all things are possible. The next text states, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Now notice for a moment, with God all things are possible. And all things are possible to him who believes. Therefore, the person who believes is God in action. You see, some of you thought that God was in the sky. Oh no. The person who believes in himself is God in action. And I want to give you a personal affirmation concerning this. Will you point to yourself and say with me, when I believe, I am God in action. Together, when I believe, I am God in action. I'm going to add something to it. When I believe in myself, I am God in action. Point to yourself and say this. Come on. When I believe, I am God in action. Let's do another take and take it through. When I believe in myself, I am God in action. Come on, together. When I believe in myself, I am God in action. Now, aren't you glad you know who God is? Some of you never knew that. Isn't it wonderful to know that? Here again, this is what the mastermind Jesus meant when he said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. When you know that God is no longer in the sky, but that God is the mind, the power that is within you, it sets you free from trying to get a God in the sky to do something for you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Now, this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please go ahead and find a space where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for this 10-minute silent meditation. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you comfortable today. Take a moment to simply be with yourself. Focus on your breath and gently connect with each part of your body. If thoughts arise, don't let them overwhelm you. Just observe them without attachment. Imagine them as leaves drifting down atop a river, passing by without needing your engagement. Stay present, grounded, and open to this moment, no matter what time you are listening and practicing this meditation. Namaste.